Hello and welcome. At the heart of Prime Minister Modi's appeal on reducing fuel consumption is the state of the oil market. The state of the oil market and crude oil prices climbing since the West Asia war began, and Brent crude prices currently trading over $106 a barrel. What really do we make of the fact that oil prices have risen over 40% since the West Asia war, and the impact that this is set to have now on the fuel market in India? Well, to decode all of this, I'm joined by an oil market analyst, a senior oil market veteran, really, who's been tracking the oil space for decades now, Peter McGuire, CEO of Trading.com Australia. Peter, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Sydney. And thank you for this exclusive interaction. To your mind, Peter, the fuel price impact that India is set to witness then at the moment.
Well, good afternoon, Sakshin. Lovely to join you. There is many moving parts to this whole equation, as we know, and it's very hard to simplify and just pull out one little part because all of those components are all reactionary on each other. And, I'm just looking at, a line here from President Trump, and it's just on Bloomberg. US says China wants more of its oil to cut Middle East resilience, or reliance, I should say. So you can imagine that would not have been a storyline 6 weeks ago, let alone 6 days ago. But now it changes the footprint. So, and that could be Venezuela. Who knows what it could be? Venezuelan oil, is it? Is it American oil? What's it going to be? So all of these components impact price, market sentiment, inflation. Have a look at that US read as far as inflation. India, what I'm saying is applicable to just as much India as it is America in the sense of inflation. You've got a lot of uncertainty. All of those factors contribute to creating hurt on Main Street for the consumer. Secondly, an increase in all goods and services because they've got to be transported. I mean, I've been to Mumbai probably 20 times, and I've travelled across some of the country by road, wonderful highways, but they all chew up petrol or fuel. So it costs more money to have anything transported. So the end consumer didn't get a pay increase. He or she is being impacted by their wallet and their purse because there's less spending power. That's correct, isn't it?
Absolutely. So less spending power, inflationary concerns mounting now. And to your
Yep.
mind, the Indian consumer or the Indian citizen should be bracing for a fuel price impact of just how much, or and when should they brace for this?
Well, I mean, it's being felt now. I think it's probably been felt for the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks from consumption. I don't know what the average fuel price is in Mumbai right now. I mean, you'd know that better than anyone. But that impact is being felt across all of Asia and all of pretty much the world. So all of these factors, India is not by itself in this whole big argument. The whole world's in it. So you can't crimp that supply, which is out of the Strait of Hormuz, and not get an impact to the beneficiaries of that crude. In other words, where does the crude go to? Goes to Asia, goes to China, goes to India. Everyone's got their hand out for some of it. And if there's an issue as far as getting supply, then there's got to be alternatives that look at demand destruction. Is there going to be less crude? You listen to the IEA. Everything has got an overview. OPEC revising what they think is going to be fair. You've got a new Fed chair coming into the Fed tomorrow. These are incredibly unusual times, and all of those factors impact one, consumption, and that drives GDP, inflation, that impacts the consumer because no one benefits really from higher inflation. You say, well, I'm selling my goods. I used to get 100 rupees, now I get 140. The trouble is, or 110, I should say. I won't use 40, 110. But it's costing me 10 rupees extra to buy the goods. So it's a net zero gain. But that increases the inflation because I didn't get a pay rise. I'm feeling that directly in my wallet and my purse, male and female. There wouldn't be many people that would be saying, I'm so excited to fill my car up or motorbike up in Mumbai, down at Worley today. And you wouldn't, I'm so excited. I've got to pay 20% more or 30% more. I don't know one person that would look me in the eye and say, I'm so excited to pay more.
Right. So the
You get
sentiment is
one?
universal there, is what you're trying to explain to our viewers. But Peter, do you
Yes.
think the PM, do you think the Prime Minister Modi's moral appeal, what is being viewed as a moral appeal in a sense, has the potential then to moderate fuel demand in India, and can it work?
I think that's a very difficult question to answer. The reason why it's difficult, young, vibrant population that is just so engaged in mobility. I go to India and I'm just amazed at everyone riding motorbikes 24/7, and that's across the country. Cars, it's mobility. People want mobility. They don't want to, that gives them a sense of freedom, liberation. That's what motor cars do to people and motorbikes. And that's a common, that's deep in our DNA. So whether the Prime Minister can say, I would like to see a decrease of consumption, are the young people or the people of the country going to play ball with him? Are they going to agree with that? I don't know. That's a future that's trying to change behaviour. I don't know
Mhm.
whether he's popular enough to actually change behaviour, or is it just uh, a feel good story? I don't know, and no one knows until we talk in 2 weeks and you say, Peter, you wouldn't believe it. The consumption is down dramatically because
Mhm.
people have taken a moral stance by the Prime Minister to say, cut consumption. So we're doing less driving, less mobility, and less movement. And so we're using less fuel. I don't know whether that's going to be whether that's achievable.
Right. Of course, lots being said about many other appeals, but for now, Peter, what should consumers and businesses then prepare for if crude prices remain elevated for an extended period then?
Well, let's look at the US. I mean, you're going to have to worry about your inflation story. We're at 3.3% now. We're at that was in March, 3.8% now. If the prices stay elevated in May, which they are over $100 a barrel, then inflation in the States will probably be 4+% um, for that time period for May.
Hmm.
So I would think that you will have a similar issue in Asia and in India, that inflation will start to tick up. That will crimp GDP. It'll impact consumption because there is a point in time called demand destruction. And I
Hmm.
want to I want to explain it. This is not a textbook straight out of the Wharton School that I went to in Philadelphia. That this is my interpretation of demand destruction.
Hmm. Right.
So if
So
I,
this
if
is.
I was saying if I was saying this to a team of 15 and 16-year-olds, and they're asking me a question, and I said demand destruction, they said, I've never heard of that. What's that mean? That means that they're all riding e-bikes or motorbikes or whatever, and they want to ride around, and the fuels are 120. I'm just using a number. It's 120 rupee a litre. I don't know what the price is, but I'm just going to use that. Then all of a
Right.
sudden it's 140 or it's
Hmm.
150. They've only got so much capital
Right.
to buy the fuel. So there is a point in time that they go without. If it
Hmm.
goes to 150 or a 200 rupee for a litre, as an example, then there
Hmm.
will be a point in time that there's less consumption. That's demand destruction. because people change behaviors. They say, Sakshi, I ride the motorbike. I mean, I've spent a lot, as I said, a lot of time in talking to a lot of hotel people when I stay at wonderful hotels in Mumbai. They ride motorbikes for 40 minutes there, 40 minutes home, or an hour. If they get the train, it might take 2 hours or an hour and a half. There is a point in time that you say, I'm not going to go by motorbike because I can't afford it. I'll have
Hmm.
to revert back to the train. That all changes again behaviors. The motorbike's out the front of the house or wherever I'm living, my apartment or wherever. I jump on the motorbike and I go. I'm off. I'm going to work at 5 a.m. All of a sudden, I haven't got that flexibility. I have to pay too much to buy the fuel, so demand destruction. Now I've got to walk that 18-minute walk to the train station or to the bus station to get the bus, to then go to get the train, and that's where it changes behaviour. And that's
Right.
I'm trying to, yeah, I think everyone can understand that.
Right. So lastly, Peter, your thoughts on just how long will the oil market remain volatile, both for India and the world, and what really then is the biggest economic risk to your mind in the near term, especially for India?
A time frame, I haven't got that's a crystal ball, Sakshi, to try and determine how long does this go on for.
Hmm.
I I believe we are at a very unique point in time, and there's a big event that I think a lot of people aren't aware of, and that's the 250th anniversary in celebration of America, Independence Day, 250 years, and that's the 4th of July. I feel that this will be, uh, to some degree, worked through by, I'd say, this time next month. I might be wrong, but I feel as though that there is a point in time that they will make a deal happen, because I don't think the president wants this for his 250th anniversary to still have a major issue impacting one, crude, and secondly, the globe. And you've got the World Cup soccer being played in the United States in late June and early July.
Hmm.
So there's that point from a timeline perspective. And what can that do? I think you're going to see still prices edge up higher from here. And once there is a deal done, I think prices will certainly drift quickly to the downside. But I haven't got a timeline when that happens. And that may not happen as far as what I think 4th of July. But I'm going out there and I believe that that would be a general theme that the president would want to have in his heart, to know that that deal is done and we all celebrate now the 250th anniversary of America.
Right. So you're expecting that. Of course, nothing is certain
Not
in the world we live in, but you're
nothing.
expecting that. You're expecting a deal. You're expecting that the inflationary risks and elevated oil prices will then be looked into. And that really is your big takeaway. Thank you so much, Peter, for joining the Times Now network for this exclusive interaction. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this
Thank you.
interaction.
Thank you, Sakshi.